The mission for us today, basically, is to unpack those first chapters,
Right.
pull out the key parts of Rama's conception, understand the world, both, on Earth and in the heavens where it all happened.
And there's a lot there. Surprising things about ancient India, divine plans.
Yeah, the grandeur of rituals, heavenly politics almost.
Yeah,
It's all woven together, using those audiobook excerpts as our guide.
precisely. We're digging into the foundation of the whole epic. These aren't just introductory notes.
No.
They set up everything that comes later, the why behind it all.
And like you said, they give us this window into, an ancient civilization that feels maybe more complex than we sometimes think.
Definitely challenges some assumptions, I think.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. Chapter 1, the conception. It starts by setting the scene, doesn't it? This kingdom of Kosala,
North of the Ganga River.
made fertile by the Sarayu River, apparently, and the capital, Ayodhya. Wow.
Yeah, Ayodhya, founded by Manu, according to the text.
Which itself says something, right? That lineage. But what really jumped out at me was the description, suggesting Ayodhya was, not inferior to our modern cities.
That's a striking comparison, isn't it?
It really is. Makes you pause and think about what ancient actually meant back then in terms of maybe how advanced things were.
Exactly. And Valmiki gives us quite a bit of detail, even early on. Mentioning Manu establishes that deep sense of order, of history,
Right.
and the name itself, Ayodhya, that which cannot be subdued by war.
Tells you a lot right there.
It speaks volumes, its importance, the security people must have felt, and then the details about the forts, the moats, the defenses. It paints a picture of a really strong, well-protected place, a major center.
Does that focus on military strength? Tell us something about the times, maybe? What was important?
That's a very good question. It likely reflects the priorities, yes. Security, power.
Then we meet King Dasaratha, ruler of Kosala.
And he's not just any king.
No, definitely not. The text says he fought alongside the Divas.
Yes, the celestial beings, which immediately elevates him.
His fame spreads across the three worlds, earth, heavens, the underworld.
That's the traditional understanding, yes. It highlights his immense prestige, his renown.
And he's compared to Indra, the king of the gods, and Kubera, the god of wealth. So, power and riches.
It establishes him as this incredibly righteous, powerful ruler, someone perhaps worthy of being the father for a divine incarnation.
And his kingdom reflects this, right? The people are happy, virtuous.
Contented, yes. It suggests a really well-run kingdom. Justice, harmony.
And he had helped this council of 8 wise ministers.
And learned sages like Vasistha and Vamadeva advising him. Wisdom and spiritual guidance were clearly valued.
He even mentions light taxes, fair punishment.
Based on capacity, yeah. It really emphasizes this ideal of a just, prosperous society.
And here's the human part, I guess.
Yes, the twist.
Despite all that power, all that prosperity, wealth, respect, he has this one big sorrow.
He has no son.
No heir. And that really kicks off the main sort of human drama here.
It absolutely does. It's the core conflict for him.
So he decides to do something major about it. He plans to perform a horse sacrifice, a yaga.
A very powerful, very complex ritual.
Yeah.
Specifically for progeny, for a son.
Planned for early summer after talking to his religious teachers.
Right, consultation was key. And he brings in a famous sage, Rishi Asringa, to lead it.
This yaga, it sounds like a huge, huge deal, not just a small ceremony.
Oh, massive. The audiobook details really stress the scale, the complexity.
Right.
It wasn't just, lighting a fire. It needed serious planning, building this specific sacrificial platform.
Following strict rules.
Exactly. Expert guidance, lots of learned people involved. The comparison to, say, a modern huge conference or exhibition, it's actually not that far off.
That's a good way to think about it. The number of people, kings invited, the logistics, maybe even entertainment.
Quite possibly. It shows how central these rituals were. They weren't just religious, they were huge social, political events too. A statement.
Like a state fair meets a high-level summit meets a sacred rite.
Something like that, yeah. A combination. You wonder how people felt being part of something that grand.
Must have been awe-inspiring. And a display of the kingdom's clout. Okay, so while this enormous yaga is getting underway in Ayodhya, something else is happening up in the heavens.
The parallel story unfolds. The Devas, the gods, are having their own meeting, a summit with Lord Brahma.
And they're not happy.
Far from it. They have a big problem. Ravana.
The demon king?
Exactly. He's become a tyrant, basically. Drunk on power from a boon he got from Brahma himself.
Okay. And this boon made him invincible.
Pretty much. Against gods, demons, other celestial beings, but, and this is key, not against humans.
Ooh, okay. Hold that thought. So the Devas are upset because Ravana is what is just running rampant?
Completely. Total tyranny, arrogant, wicked, mistreating everyone or dated. The text even mentions his ill treatment of women. And he wants to overthrow Indra, the king of the gods. So the cosmic order is seriously out of whack.
And the devas feel helpless because of this boon from Brahma.
Utterly helpless. So they go to Brahma, pleading for him to step in to restore Dharma, righteousness, cosmic balance.
And that's when Brahma drops the bombshell.
Exactly. He reveals the loophole. Ravana, in his arrogance, forgot to ask for protection from humans, mankind.
Wow. You can just imagine the sigh of relief from the gods.
Oh, absolutely. Suddenly there's a way, a vulnerability.
So what do? They turn to Vishnu.
They turn to Vishnu, the preserver god.
Yeah.
Total surrender. Basically asking him, begging him to be born as a human.
To specifically exploit that weakness and defeat Ravana.
Precisely. To end his reign of terror.
This is fascinating. The level of divine strategy involved.
It is. And it shows how even immense power, like Ravana's, can have these hidden weaknesses. It hinges on this one oversight.
And the Devas' complete faith in Vishnu to sort it out.
Their surrender is total. They know he's the one who can restore balance. And asking him to be born as a man ties directly back to Brahma's revelation.
Incredible. And
Vishnu agrees. He assures them.
He says yes.
Yes. He tells them he will be born as the 4 sons of King Dasaratha.
No way.
The very same king who, at that exact moment,
is performing the yaga for sons.
Exactly. The timing is just perfect. Divinely orchestrated, you could say.
Wow. Talk about things aligning. The king's deepest wish and the god's most urgent need, meeting in one solution.
It beautifully connects the mortal world and the divine plan, sets the stage perfectly for what needs to happen.
Okay, so back to Ayodhya. The yaga is in full swing. Sacred ghee, clarified butter is being poured into the fire.
The climax of the ritual.
And then, bam! This figure emerges right out of the sacrificial flames.
A dramatic entrance, to say the least.
The description is amazing radiant, like the sun at noon carrying a golden bowl. It's undeniably divine.
A very powerful image. Emerging from the fire itself signifies direct divine intervention. No ambiguity there.
And the golden bowl suggests something precious, sacred.
Yeah, definitely. Something given, not made.
And this figure speaks directly to Dasaratha.
Yes. Tells the king the devas are pleased, that his prayers, his efforts in the yaga have been answered.
And he presents the bowl containing payasam.
A kind of divine sweet milk pudding or porridge sent by the gods.
Specifically for his wives, with the promise that if they drink it,
they will bear sons, the sons he so desperately desires.
This is it, the moment of conception, but divinely delivered.
Absolutely. The payasam is the direct link. The physical manifestation of the divine response to Dasaratha's ritual and the Deva's plea.
Dasaratha must have been ecstatic. Overjoyed doesn't seem strong enough.
Unimaginably happy, yes. The text says he received the bowl with such reverence, almost like receiving a child itself.
And then he gives it to his wives, his 3 wives. But the way he divides it is interesting.
Yes, it's very specific. Kosala, the chief queen, gets half.
Okay, then Sumitra gets half of what's left.
Yeah.
So a quarter.
Right. Then Kaikeyi gets half of that remainder, an eighth.
And then Sumitra gets the last bit as well, another eighth.
Correct. So Kosala half, Kaikeyi an eighth.
Yeah.
And Sumitra gets 2 portions, totaling a quarter.
That feels very deliberate. Does it mean something?
It's often interpreted as significant, yes.
Yeah.
Perhaps foreshadowing the number of sons each will have, or maybe their characteristics, their roles later in the story. It's one of those details in the Ramayana that invites a lot of thought.
Fascinating. And the immediate result?
The immediate result is joy. All 3 wives conceive, they become expectant mothers.
A happy ending for this part of the story, but like we said, really just the start.
Exactly. It sets everything in motion, explains Rama's miraculous birth, and crucially, why it needed to happen. The cosmic stage is set.
So, just to recap the key threads here, Dasaratha's intense desire for a son drives him to perform this incredibly elaborate yaga. At the same time, the Devas are desperate because of Ravana's tyranny, and they appeal to Brahma,
who reveals Ravana's one crucial weakness: vulnerability to humans.
Which leads the gods to Vishnu, who agrees to be born as Dasaratha's sons, fulfilling both needs.
And the payasam arrives during the yaga as the divine instrument to make it all happen.
It's all so tightly linked. Human desire, divine will, cosmic crisis.
And what strikes me is how it shows this this ancient society, sophisticated Ayodhya, complex rituals, governance.
Yeah.
Existing right alongside and directly interacting with these huge divine forces, the two realms are completely intertwined in the narrative.
Absolutely. It really makes you think, doesn't it? You look at the story of Dasaratha's intense human effort, the massive yaga.
Right, his actions.
But then you also have this undeniable divine plan, this intervention shaping destiny. It kind of poses a question for us, maybe, about that interplay in our own lives, between what we do, our efforts, and maybe those larger forces, divine or otherwise, that seem to guide things.
That's a deep thought to take away. The balance between human agency and, something bigger.
Definitely something to mull over from this first dive into the Ramayana's beginnings.
I hope you like this chapter. We need volunteers and sponsors to create content with even better quality and with more variety. If you wish to join this initiative as a volunteer or sponsor, please click the links given in description below. To help us reach more viewers, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Biography Central. Thank you for your time. It means a lot. Namaste.